TitleMatchNetwork.com.
At what point in your career did you kind of think to yourself, I finally made it, I succeeded at this?
I don't think the way that Vince drove us, and I think he was probably smart to do it, it's like, the way I perceived it was, like, I'll never forget my first match in the Garden. I'm wrestling Randy Savage. And the music's playing. Vince is standing right by me. And I'm getting ready to go out. And he goes, wait. Make him wait. So we wait until the music's playing and playing, then I come out. Mm. But the point I'm trying to make is the way Vince, in my opinion, directed his talent was, when you go through the curtain, he's there going, you're a major star. Everybody in this building is here to see you. You're a star. Go out there and tear the house down. And when you come back through, you're lucky to have a job because there's 10 guys who'll do it for less. Go get ready and get to the next town.
Wow.
Not that he ever said those words, but you're only as good as your last performance. What have you done lately? I don't care what you did last week. You know, because the agents who would go to house shows would watch the matches. One guy would be in charge of the box office. The other guy would watch the matches. And they would watch them, and these guys were smart. And they'd watch the match, and if you come back, they'd go, you sick? You hurt? No. Well, what the hell was that? Were you taking a night off? You don't do that shit. You work your ass off every night, or we'll get somebody else to do it. You know, yes, sir. You know, I mean, you're only as good as your last performance. And I think that kind of mentality was good. Plus, back then, man, you know, we worked 20, 30 days in a row. You know, we were on the road all the time. And we were happy to do it. It was a grind, but at the same time, you get good at wrestling, working all the time like that.
Was it hard to adjust to the travel schedule, find time to work out and eat right and that kind of thing?
Well, see, at that time, too, I decided that, in my opinion, like, I was never one of them body guys who shaved down and posed or anything. I just wanted to be a wrestler who happened to lift weights, not like a weightlifter who wrestled. So, and I always felt like Tarzan gets more pussy than Mr. Universe. So I never worried about being too big. I traveled with Shawn Michaels for most of my early part of my career in the WWF, and our routine was wrestle, go out, party, do what we're going to do, go to the hotel, next morning get up, eat breakfast, go to the tanning bed, lay in the tanning bed while the food digests, and go in, do 30 minutes on the Stairmaster, then we would superset pull-ups and dips, go. Go eat again, go to town. You know, because we called it a Tarzan workout, just enough to, you know.
Pump you up. And
yeah, it was enough, you know.
Yeah. What are your memories of Shawn Michaels from back then?
I knew Shawn. I first met Shawn in Kansas City. Okay. Because he came into Kansas City from San Antonio, and I have some pictures of my gym at home of Shawn. Man, he looks like he's 12. But he came in, and they started putting, because Marty Jannetty and Bulldog Bob Brown were the tag champs. But they started putting Shawn and Marty together in Kansas City. And now you had two young, handsome, athletic baby faces. And it was kind of good because Danny Spivey was still there for part of that. Mm-hmm. So then we had, you know, we got to have some good matches, good for us at that point with them, because we had two big guys and the two pretty guys. And, you know, and Shawn, I remember making a trip with Shawn one time when he explained the business to me. We're riding down the road. I've been working about 6-8 months, and I don't know. I don't understand the business. I don't know. I didn't know there was a kind of a formula. So Shawn goes, we're riding along, and he goes, well, see, what you do is, at the beginning, you know, you shine the babyface, make the babyface look good. Then, you know, you get some heat on them. And then, you know, you get the babyface makes a comeback, and then you do the finish. And I went, oh. Because I didn't even know that, I mean, you can always shift it around and make it more complex, but that's the basic ingredients. I mean, sometimes you jumpstart the heat, you know, you start with the heat and stuff, but I didn't even know that. And Shawn was younger than me and continues to be younger than me, but he explained that to me then, and that's when I kind of, you know, we're talking about how things click, and I was like, oh. So I got to wrestle Shawn some then, and then Lanza took me to Kansas City. And by that time now, Shawn and Marty are kind of established as a team in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in Minneapolis, and they're kind of using me pretty good. And now they want to bring the soon-to-be Midnight Rockers to Minneapolis, but they come to me and go, we want to bring them in, but we don't want any problems, and we know you and Jannetty had a problem. And I said, man, as far as I'm concerned, it's history. I said, those guys are great. I said, I got no problem with Jannetty. We did what it was over that night, because the next time I saw him, the next night I went to him and said, well, everybody's telling me I jumped you when you were asleep, so now you're awake. Do you want some of me? And he went, no. Because he still had stitches in his face, and if he'd have said yes, I'd have drilled him.
Yeah.
But he went, no. I said, okay, it's over. Then to me, it's over.
Yeah. And
so it was over, and I said, no, they're great. Bring them in. And they really took off then. And then Midnight Rockers, they just exploded. And the funny part was, at that time in their careers, Marty was the leader. Marty was this kind of the smarter one about the business. But it didn't take Shawn long for those roles to reverse.
Yeah.
And Shawn became the leader and continues to, in my opinion, Shawn's the best worker in the industry.
Wow. And
I got to wrestle him every night for about 2.5 years. Then with Kev on the outside. Then I wrestled Kev for about 1.5 years with Shawn on the outside. So for about 3 or 4 years there, we were in cruise control.
Huh.
We had our A match, our B match, our C match, depending on the house, we decide what match we're going to give them.
At what point do you think the Kliq in general started to gain any kind of political power in the WWF?
Well, first of all, Bam Bam Bigelow, God rest his soul, was the one who named us the Kliq. But we were just a bunch of friends who all thought the same. And again, it was really the influence of Perfect that Curt Hennig had on us. Curt taught me a lot, and many. Shawn was around him. Then when Kev came along, when Diesel came along, we taught him the way we thought business should be done. When Kid came along, Kid had to do business the way we thought it should be done because he was in our Kliq. And later, Triple H came in. We taught him, this is how we do business. This is the way we think it should be done. If you're putting a guy over, man, you put him over like a MFer. Like Pat Patterson was the one who was so sweet. When Pat Patterson tells you a finish, you can feel it, man. You can feel the people. Like he go, you make a comeback, bada bing, bada boom, you make a hell of a comeback, da da da, bada bada, and then he beats you. He's telling you the finish, and you can feel it. You can hear the people. And he used to tell me and Shawn, he'd go, okay, you guys have a good match every night, but your main event, it got to be a little something extra. You know what I mean? Your main event, something extra. So that's when we started thinking, like, I get it. This is the distinction between being like a great wrestler and then being the shit. It's something extra. That's when you start doing the fall through. I went to, and I went to, and then, where people go, man, after you hit, like Shawn and I would do some matches where we do 15, 20 false finishes, and pretty soon people are going, we don't even care what happens now. We've had our money's worth. You know what I mean? Like, do whatever you want, guys. Hell of a match. It's just things that I wish I could spend more time around Pat Patterson because he's one of the smartest guys in the business.
Wow.
And just that stuff about doing something extra, something at the Kliq. That's the way we operated. And the thing was too is if 3 or 4 guys are in the main events, you get a certain amount of power because you go to Vince and go, well, what about this? I think we should do this. What about this guy? Man, this guy's got a hell of a talent. Why don't we do something with him? Or how about da-da-da and have Kid run down and do that, and you start kicking around ideas. And if you're riding down a car, see, we all travel together too. So if you got 3 or 4 guys riding down a car and all we do is wrestle, we're on the road 25 days a month. All we do is we're consumed with wrestling and partying and doing whatever we're doing. But we're talking business a lot of the time. So you start talking about stuff. So then you going in and you got an idea, and your ideas just happen to involve all your buddies, because they think the same. And I don't know. I just think it's funny that this whole Kliq thing is growing to this mythic portion. Oh my because so many people hate the Kliq. There's a whole faction of people that hate the Kliq themselves. All they care about themselves. Well, yeah, man, I'm an independent contractor. Get it? Independent. It's like, yeah, man. Like, if I get to choose who I want to do business with, I'd rather do business with my friends. You know, I mean.
Speaking of myths, there's a myth legend that the Kliq went on strike one weekend at the house shows. What's the story behind that?
What town was that? One time we had a big summit. One time I remember, I can't remember what town we were in, but all of a sudden we were all sitting in a restaurant eating, and Shawn got pissed off and he called the office. And then what had happened was they did an angle where Kid was a special referee and I was wrestling Sid, and I picked Sid up for my finish. Kid pulled him down. I turned around, Sid powerbombed me, and Kid did the count like that. And DiBiase stuck the money in my mouth, and Kid walked by, took the money, put it in his pocket. I mean, it was sweet.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be a non-title match, and it was a tape draw. We used to do one live and one tape. Then the word came down that they were going to go ahead and just make it. They were going to switch the belt anyway. So I called Vince and said, Vince, you want Sid to have the belt? I got no problem putting Sid over in the middle, anywhere you want on TV. I said, but by doing this way, and Vince was real big on the perception. And I said, the perception is that I wouldn't do business. You're making it look like Razor was a mark and he wouldn't do business, so you had to steal the belt. You had to swerve the belt off me. And I said, that's bullshit. So then, and by then, Kev had called, and next thing you know, Vince goes, where are you guys? And we're staying at some little worse Western in somewhere in Indiana, something like that. Vince and Pat Patterson fly to the hotel, rent a conference room. We all sit there and have a meeting. And then they come to the town with us. And we get there late, and everybody's going, ooh, you're in trouble. And then in walks Vince and Pat. No, we ain't in trouble. We're with the boss. I think that might be what you're referring to. I mean,
yeah, I think that's it. The weekend that Vince flew to the house shows.
Yeah, he came to the house show because he went, what's going on? Because now he's got several of his major guys all bitching. And that's the worst thing you could have. You don't want your top couple matches riding down the road going, because by the time you get to town, nobody wants to do a thing. I'm quitting. Yeah, me too. Because negativity spreads just like positivity does.
Yeah. It's, the Kliq. Do you think you guys were too hard on Chris Candido back then?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it was not his fault. It was a stupid gimmick. I mean, come on, man. It was a horrible gimmick. Chris was a really talented, good worker. And the thing is, too, coming in with your girlfriend into that Shark Tank environment that we had going, we almost prided ourselves on how vicious our locker room was. You know what I mean? You're new. Okay, let's see what you got. Everybody go to the curtain and watch. No competition from him. Don't have to worry. Or if you're good, ooh, wow, I better watch this guy. Shit, I better step my game up. This guy's pretty damn good. And it was a brutal, vicious, cutthroat kind of environment. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but those were the conditions. Some guys thrive on that. Some guys don't. The guys who thrive survived and prospered. And he got ribbed and brutalized and stuff a lot. But then I crossed paths with him later and stuff, and it seemed like he got it. Because he knew he had a lame gimmick. It wasn't his fault. Bodydonnas and Skip and Sonny. I mean, come on. That ain't going to get over. But yeah, it was, he got treated bad. I crossed past him in TNA like years later, and it was, there was no hard feelings and stuff. And I was happy that, because I think people have to realize that a lot of it, man, was the conditions, Yeah. It's work, man. It ain't play. It's show business. It's not show fun. It's business. It's cutthroat. I'm getting paid. Because there was no guaranteed money. It was real competitive. Whoever was the best got the most. And Vince perpetuated that kind of environment, and so did everybody else. I felt like, I always looked at it like, if you're the third leading rusher in the NFL, then you should be paid commensurate to your abilities.
Yeah.
If the leading rusher gets this much and you're the third leading rusher, you should get paid this much. if you're in working for Vince in the WWF or WWE, and you're the second best performer, or you're having the second best matches, or selling the second most merchandise, you're getting the best crowd reaction and stuff, you should be paid commensurate to that. And so that kind of, I'm not saying it's the right way, but it bred a real cutthroat competitive environment. I don't feel it was nasty, but it's a bunch of guys too, man. It's a bunch of jocks. It's a bunch of men who are on the road away from their families doing what they do. So our only release was in the ring, and I'm a huge Jerry Lee Lewis fan. So my thing was like, when Jerry Lee Lewis was on tour years ago, when the groups used to tour together, whoever had top 10 hits or top 40 hits. So Jerry Lee Lewis gets to New York City, Radio City Music Hall, but Chuck Berry has the #1 hit at that time. Now, Jerry Lee has like 4 hits in the top 10, but Chuck Berry has #1. So he gets to go on last. So Jerry Lee Lewis goes on before him, goes crazy, sets his piano on fire, tears the house down, comes back and goes, follow that. So that's the kind of attitude that I tried to have, and that I think the rest of Kliq had, was like, yeah, we heard about you, we heard you pretty good. Prove it. Because I'm going to go out there and do everything I can to make the people talk about Razor Ramon or Scott Hall when they leave the building. When they're walking their parking lot, I want them to go, man, that Scott Hall's a funny son of a gun, man. That was a hell of a match. They don't even remember who won or lost. I just want them to go, man, that son of a bitch was good. I can't wait till he comes.
TitleMatchNetwork.com